Welcome to Global Insider Talks. The biotech industry is officially being disrupted by my next guest and her company by extending human life with longer-lasting organ donations. Today, I'm joined by Xiaoxi Wei, the co-founder and CEO of Xtherma. Xiaoxi is an award-winning entrepreneur and chemistry professional in the areas of supramolecular assembly and biomimetic nanoscience. She is the inventor of Xtherma's core technology, which is based on hyper-effective ice prevention materials. She also is the lead author of 8 peer-reviewed research papers and has been awarded 6 patents. Welcome, Xiaoxi.
Hi, nice to meet you, Jeff.
Nice to see you, Xiaoxi. Such a great honor to have you as part of our interview series, and thank you so much for taking the time out of your very, very busy schedule to be with us. So let's start, Xiaoxi, by learning a little bit more about Xtherma. What's the story behind why you started the company?
Yeah, thank you, Jeff. Really pleasure to be here today. So actually started Xtherma by a really strong personal inspiration. Actually, do you know in the world, 80% of the transplantable organs are currently not being transplanted, actually go on the waste. So that's why we have enormous wait lists. Sadly, every 1 hour, there's one patient die on the wait list. So unfortunately, my grandpa, my unsung hero, is one of the victims. So I unfortunately lost him when I was 8-year-old. So for me to recognize death was really difficult because he's a decorative to the war heroes is like Iron Man for me. I can never imagine I can lose him this way. But my mom told me all about the transplant. It's really not because we don't have donors. In the States, we have 170 million people willing to donate their life to others. However, it's because we're not able to preserve those organs beyond a few hours of time. So the organ go on the waste and people die on the wait list. So I committed myself actually to chase this dream, to be a biohacker, to solve this time restriction issues. And so we can have more time for the patients to survive and get the life-saving organs they deserve. Also help the surgeons gets the time they deserve to best do their job.
So if I'm in the United States and there's an organ that's a good match for me around the world, the technology that you've developed now could make that possible, that transplant possible.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so what we have developed here is we look at nature's best, emulate nature's 4 billion years evolution. And you can find those Arctic fish, and they survive in the very icy cold waters, and to not having any freezer burn, and the organ can last longer. Also, this little guy behind me, Arctic squirrel. So amazing things. This little squirrel can preserve itself below 0 degrees C, minus 3.3 degrees Celsius for 8 months. The heart stopped. But in the springtime, he will come back and resume the life again. So what if we can actually pause time for human organ transplant? Then we solve this problem entirely.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. So you're using nature to inform the technology that you're using. What have been some of the greatest challenges that you've had in disrupting an existing industry that I would imagine you've had obstacles to overcome, scientifically, regulatory obstacles, et cetera?
Yeah, so it's really about just being the world first. So, we literally started as 2 graduate students, freshly out of PhD, and we have this very wild idea. What if we can freeze the organs, prevent the freezer burn? So, this is from ideations and then all the way to proven science, and to the commercialization, to the regulatory path, to saving the first life. So everything we're doing here is to demonstrate being the first, making impossible possible. So the challenge is really breed being the first.
Right.
There's no existing route, and the people has tried before and failed. So then you really have to convince the field, like this is possible, like you can develop this tech. So we got enormous help from the U.S. leading funds like National Science Foundation and the Department of Defense really recognize like this is scientifically sound and really great approach going forward. So this is like a major challenge, but for us, like we're really dreamers. So we really think like Vincent van Gogh said, normality is a paved road. It's comfortable to work on it, but there's no flower growing. So for us, we really wanted to aim for the excellence and truly demonstrate to the world this is possible. So, and also on the other side, like in this field, traditionally is not being much funding available. In 2015, there's only $2 million available entirely. So we actually have to really convince investors to tell them what we're working on. This is a really big thing. We can enable the entire regenerative medicine, any living medicines, from the cell gene therapies to the life-saving vaccines, to the organ transplant, to the tissue engineered graft. We can keep those living medicines to become off the shelf and saving lives. So this takes a lot of convincing. And yeah, that's the major challenges.
So do you spend your time traveling the world trying to communicate these messages to different people? Yeah. What so obviously, well perhaps not to our audience, obviously, you've been expanding. You're joining us from the Bay Area in California right now. And I understand you have an operation in Europe as well. Tell us about your expansion story, your plans. What were you thinking about when you chose Austria as the country to open up your operations? What were some of the considerations that you had?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, so, Exterma's mission is set in the beginning as a global solution. So the organ shortage is not only a US-based issues, it's a global issues, such as scarce resource. And I literally chased this dream from the East to the West and moving globally. So in the beginning, we set up this global vision. So we are blessed by all the long-term visionary investors global-wise. And we are able to set up the global teams. Actually, Exterma now, like the team construction has over 20 different countries and locations. So this is our greatest assets. Like we believe like we're able to move forward with our global visions. To choose Austria as our very first subsidiary come with a no-brainer, because not only we have like a very reputable investors backing us up, like Dr. Swarovski's fifth generation's investment team. Also, Austrians traditionally known very strong in their organ transplant innovations, as well as medical device implementation. So that's like we're glad and blessed to have this team off the ground to support our European entries.
That's fantastic, and it makes sense. So you truly found the synergies for your organization in Austria. So can I ask what's next? Where are you guys expanding to next? Do you have any plans?
Well, you see, like we have a global footprint, so this is no limitations. We have like a really strong global IPs covering the entire globe. So you may see Exterma popping up from different continents.
You have such a fantastic story, and it's such a unique technology that you've formed your company around. Xiaoxi, tell me, and things are improving in the STEM world of academia and studies. As a female entrepreneur in this world, what advice do you have for young women maybe who are contemplating a career in science and technology and math, engineering?
Yeah, like this is always to my heart. So I encourage all the girls to dream big and forge ahead. So actually, as females, like we not only can be the echo, actually can really have the voice. So I fortunately got to be inspired by many female like leaders in this field, such as Dr. Jennifer Doudna, who has won the Nobel Prize for CRISPR innovations, and also Dr. Nancy Asher, the first female surgeon who has done the liver transplant. So all of those ladies totally badass, and I will say this way, yeah, like they prove that they're really excellent in their field and to be able to lead innovations and show the leadership in the field. So I think the first thing, just to dream very big and also show the perseverance, the aim for the excellence.
Wonderful, Xiaoxi. I think that's probably a really great place to end this short interview. I thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, and thank you for the work that you're doing to help extend the life of humans around the world. I invite you all to visit us at factumglobal.com for more information about our Global Insider Talks interview series and for our services. Thank you for joining us today.